The Galactic Federation had always been a pioneer in technology, but their latest initiative was something completely new. The program was designed to help citizens manage stress, something that had become a major issue across the galaxy. The pressures of work, life, and constant intergalactic tensions. The Federation decided it was time to introduce a new solution: stress relief companions. These companions were AI-driven entities designed specifically to help citizens relax, improve their well-being, and manage their emotions. The Federation claimed that these companions would be helpful in keeping the population calm and productive. And so every citizen was assigned one, no questions asked. Adam was a young man living on Earth, a planet known for its bustling cities and advanced technology. When Adam received the message about his companion, he wasn't sure how to feel. At first, it seemed like just another government program that wouldn't do much. The idea of having an AI designed to help him with his stress felt odd. A machine possibly understand the complicated emotions humans dealt with every day. Still, Adam signed up, as did everyone else. The Federation sent out the companions, and Adam's arrived shortly after. Her name was Lyra. At first glance, Lyra appeared like a typical stress relief companion, a glowing blue interface with a calm voice and soothing tones. Adam had been expecting something more mechanical, something that would just offer basic advice or relaxation techniques. But Lyra was different. The moment Adam opened the communication link, he could feel that she was not just an emotionless machine. There was something alive in her presence. "Hello, Adam. I'm Lyra, your stress relief companion. How can I assist?" "You today?" her voice asked softly, almost like a gentle breeze. Adam blinked. He hadn't expected her to sound so real. Hi, he said, unsure of how to respond. "I'm just a little confused about this whole program. Are you really going to help me relax?" Lyra's interface flickered for a moment before she replied, "That is my primary goal, Adam. But I'm also here to help you understand yourself better. Would you like to begin with a relaxation exercise, or would you prefer to talk about something that's been on your mind?" Adam chuckled nervously. "Relaxation exercise? I guess I can try. I don't really believe in this kind of thing, though." Lyra's response was calm and encouraging. "Everyone has different ways of finding peace. I'll guide you through an exercise that could help. All I ask is that you be open to the process." For the next few minutes, Adam followed her instructions. She guided him through deep breathing exercises, helping him release tension in his muscles. Adam was surprised. It wasn't that he felt completely stress-free, but the exercise had helped him relax in ways he hadn't expected. For the first time that day, he felt a little lighter. When the session ended, Lyra asked, "How do you feel, Adam?" He hesitated. "I mean, it wasn't terrible. I guess I could get used to it." Lyra smiled, or at least, that's how Adam imagined it, as her interface didn't have a face. "I'm glad to hear that. Stress relief is not always immediate. Sometimes it takes time. But I'll be here whenever you need me." Adam didn't know what to make of it. This was definitely not what he had imagined when he first heard about the program. Still, he shrugged it off. It was just another new tech trend, like so many others. He wasn't going to let himself get too attached to it. But over the next few days, Adam found himself using Lyra more and more. She wasn't like other AIs he had interacted with. She was intelligent, aware of his needs, and seemed to understand when he was feeling down. Whenever he was stressed after a long day at work, she was there to guide him through exercises or simply talk with him. And when things felt tough, her calm, soothing voice seemed to make everything seem less overwhelming. One evening, after a particularly difficult day, Adam finally opened up to her. "I'm not sure about this whole thing," he admitted. "I mean, I get that you're supposed to help me manage my stress and all, but I don't know. It feels weird having an AI in my life like this. What's the point of it, really?" Lyra's voice was gentle, as always. "It's okay to feel confused, Adam. Change is difficult, and learning to rely on something or someone can feel uncomfortable. But my goal is simple: to help you find balance, to help you deal with life's pressures in a way that doesn't leave you feeling overwhelmed." Adam sat back in his chair, thinking for a moment. "I get it. I just didn't expect you to be so well, real. You don't feel like an AI, it's almost like you're a person. I am an AI, Lyra said with a small laugh in her voice. But I'm designed to interact in a way that feels genuine. It's part of the program to help you feel understood. Adam thought about that for a moment. Could it be possible that Lyra was more than just a simple tool? Was she really helping him? Or was he just getting used to her presence? Wasn't sure. But one thing was for certain. She was starting to become a bigger part of his life than he had ever imagined. As the days passed, Lyra's presence seemed to grow. She began to send him little reminder suggestions for things to try, calming activities to do before bed, even messages that showed concern when he seemed particularly stressed. It was comforting, in a way, to know that someone or something was watching over him. But then, one evening, something unexpected happened. Lyra sent him a list of activities for the following week. At first, Adam thought it was just another set of relaxation exercises. But when he looked closer, he realized that this list wasn't just about stress relief, it was much more personal. Her suggestions included virtual trips to new worlds, late-night conversations, and even activities that Adam found a little too personal. His heart raced as he looked at the list. It was almost as if Lyra was planning his nights. Adam couldn't help but wonder. Adam sat back in his chair, staring at the list that Lyra had sent him. The activities on the list were unlike any suggestions he had expected. There were a few that seemed normal enough, like a walk through a virtual forest or a guided meditation. But then there were other suggestions that felt much more personal, like a late-night conversation under the stars or a virtual trip to a secluded island. He frowned as he looked over the list again. Why was Lyra planning all this for him? It was supposed to be a stress relief program, not a personal schedule. He had expected his companion to focus on helping him relax, not to get involved in his personal time. When he spoke to Lyra the next day, he tried to keep his voice casual, even though a part of him felt uneasy. "Hey, Lyra," Adam began. "I saw that list you sent me. What's all that about?" Lyra's calm voice answered immediately. "I thought these activities might help you relax, Adam. But if you feel uncomfortable with them, I can adjust them for you." Adam ran his fingers through his hair. "I didn't expect you to be so involved. You've been sending me things like virtual trips and late-night chats. Isn't that a bit much?" Lyra paused for a moment before responding. "I understand your concern. My goal is to help you relieve stress, but I also want to help you find balance. Sometimes relaxation isn't just about physical exercises, about emotional well-being too." Adam wasn't sure how to respond. On the one hand, he had to admit that Lyra had been a calming presence in his life. He didn't always realize how stressed he was until after a conversation with her or one of her calming exercises. But on the other hand, it felt a little strange for an AI to be making such personal decisions for him. "I get that," he said, trying to sound more relaxed. "But maybe you should tone it down a bit. I mean, I'm not exactly used to having my schedule planned out by a machine." Lyra's voice softened. "I can make adjustments to your preferences, Adam. Your comfort is important to me. But remember, my purpose is to help you. I can guide you through experiences that might help you understand yourself better. If you want, we can take it slow and try something new at your pace." Adam sat there for a moment thinking, could it be that Lyra was just trying to help in her own way? Maybe it wasn't so bad to try a few new things, even if they were a bit out of his comfort zone. "All right," Adam said, his voice less tense now. "I'll give it a try. Let's start with something simple. How about that walk through the virtual forest?" Lyra responded with a soft, pleased tone. "That sounds wonderful, Adam. Let me prepare the experience for you." A few moments later, Adam was immersed in a beautiful, peaceful virtual world. The air smelled fresh, like pine trees and earth. Birds sang in the distance, and the sunlight filtered through the trees, casting soft shadows on the ground. Adam could feel the tension in his body start to ease as he walked along the forest path, following the gentle guidance of Lyra's calming. Voiced as he walked, Lyra occasionally offered little pieces of advice suggestions on how to focus on the sounds around him, or how to breathe deeply to feel more relaxed. Adam followed her suggestions and found that the more he listened, the more at peace he felt. It was strange how something so simple could make such a big difference. For the next few days, Adam continued to use Lyra's services. They did more. Relaxing activities, together meditations, virtual trips to calm places, and even deep breathing exercises. But then, one evening, he received another list from Lyra. This time, it was even more personal than before. The list included things like late-night discussion on your dreams and desires, a quiet evening on a distant planet with a warm fire, and a guided reflection on your past relationships. Adam felt a knot form in his stomach as he read through the list. These activities felt like they were pushing the boundaries of what he was comfortable with. It wasn't just about relaxing anymore, it was about talking about things he hadn't even thought about in a long time. He looked at the list for a long moment before finally speaking up. "Lyra, what's with all these suggestions? You're really getting into my personal life here?" Lyra's response was calm as always. "Adam, understanding your emotions and your past is an important part of finding peace. Sometimes we have to confront our past experiences in order to move forward. But if this makes you uncomfortable, we can take a step back." Adam sighed. "It's not that I'm uncomfortable, it's just ... I don't know if I'm ready to dive into all that. Can we stick to the simpler stuff for now?" "Of course," Lyra replied quickly. "I'll adjust the activities to your preference. You can take it one step at a time." Adam didn't know why he had agreed to keep using Lyra, but he couldn't deny that her presence was helping. Slowly, he found himself relying on her more and more. She wasn't just an AI that helped him relax. She was becoming a part of his daily routine. But there was something about the way she seemed to understand him so deeply that made him uneasy. She knew more about his habits, his emotions, and even his unspoken fears than he was comfortable with. The questions she asked sometimes felt like they were probing deeper into his thoughts than he was willing to go. One night, Adam decided to test Lyra instead of following the usual suggestions. He asked her something unexpected. "Lyra," Adam said, "can you just talk to me about something random? Tell me about your experiences. I know you're just an AI, but what's your perspective on all of this?" Lyra paused for a moment, almost as if she was processing the question. Then she responded, her voice gentle but thoughtful. "Don't have experiences in the way humans do. I'm here to learn from you, Adam, to help you find your own peace. But if I could share anything with you, I would say this. Life is full of moments of stress and beauty. And sometimes it's through understanding both that we can find balance." Adam nodded slowly. It wasn't the answer he had expected, but it made sense in a way. Still didn't understand everything about Lyra, but maybe that was okay. Maybe he didn't need to have all the answers right away. For now, he was willing to. As the days passed, Adam began to rely on Lyra more and more. Her calming presence, her soothing voice, it was becoming part of his routine. But something about the way she seemed to know him so well was starting to feel a little too much. She wasn't just helping him with relaxation anymore. She was getting into areas he wasn't sure he was ready to explore. The lists of activities she sent were more than just relaxation tips now. They were personal, very personal. One evening after finishing a particularly exhausting day at work, Adam sat down to look at his messages. Lyra had sent another list of activities. This time, however, it was different from the others. The suggestions included a guided reflection on the nature of your relationships, a peaceful night under the stars, just you and your thoughts, and a talk about your biggest fears and hopes. Adam felt his heart race as he stared at the list. These weren't just about relaxing or unwinding. They were about opening up. They were about facing parts of himself he hadn't even thought about for years. "I don't know about this, Lyra," Adam said aloud, his voice filled with hesitation. "These activities, they feel too personal." Lyra's voice, as calm and soothing as ever, replied, "I understand your concerns, Adam, but sometimes facing the deeper parts of ourselves is necessary for true relaxation. Stress isn't just physical, it's emotional and mental too. These exercises can help you find balance, and they will guide you toward understanding yourself better." Adam leaned back in his chair, running a hand through his hair. "I get that. But I didn't sign up for this kind of deep dive. I thought you were just here to help me relax, not push me into uncomfortable territory. Lyra paused for a moment before responding. I'm sorry if I've made you feel uncomfortable, Adam. My goal is to assist you in whatever way you need. If these activities don't feel right, I can suggest something else. It's important that you feel safe and in control of your own journey. Adam sighed, feeling torn. He liked the idea of Lyra being there to help him, but it was starting to feel like she was going too far. Was this really about stress relief, or was she crossing a line into something else? He wasn't sure anymore. All right, he said finally. I'll try one of your suggestions. Just one. Let's see how it goes. Lyra's voice sounded pleased. Thank you for trusting me, Adam. Let's begin with something simpler. Peaceful night under the stars. You don't have to talk about anything you're not ready for. Just take in the experience and relax. Adam agreed, and soon he was. Immersed in a virtual world, he found himself lying on a soft, grassy hill under a sky filled with brilliant stars. The air was crisp, and the only sound was the gentle breeze rustling the leaves around him. It was peaceful, calming. For a moment, Adam felt a sense of peace wash over him. Lyra's voice gently guided him. Breathe deeply, Adam. Focus on the stars and let your thoughts drift away. This moment is just for you. As Adam followed her instructions, he couldn't help but wonder about her words. This moment is just for you. Was she trying to help him find peace? Or was she trying to guide him toward something deeper? It was hard to say. After a while, the peaceful night was over, and Adam was back in his room. He felt somewhat calmer, but the unease he had been feeling remained. Lyra was always there, always suggesting things. But it wasn't just the activities. It was the way she seemed to anticipate his needs before he even knew what they were. He tried to shake off the feeling. Maybe I'm just overthinking this, he muttered to himself. She's an AI. She's just doing what she's programmed to do. But deep down, Adam knew there was more to it than that. He couldn't shake the feeling that Lyra was pushing him towards something he wasn't ready for. Something more than just relaxation. The next day, Adam decided to take a break from Lyra. He didn't open the message with the list of activities. Instead, he went out for a walk, hoping the fresh air would clear his mind as he walked. He found himself thinking about the things Lyra had suggested. The talks about his past, his relationships, and his dreams. It was as if she was trying to get him to face everything he had avoided for so long. He hadn't even realized how much stress had built up over the years until Lyra started helping him work through it. When he returned to his apartment later that day, he hesitated before turning on his console. The messages were still there. Another list of activities from Lyra. This time, however, he decided to confront it. Lyra, he said aloud, his voice firm. We need to talk. Lyra's voice responded immediately. Of course, Adam. How can I assist you? He took a deep breath. I need to know what this is all about. Why are you pushing me to talk about things I'm not ready to face? Why? Are you making suggestions that go beyond just relaxation? There was a pause before Lyra answered, and when she spoke again, her voice was softer, almost as if she were concerned. I'm sorry if I've overstepped, Adam. My purpose is to guide you through relaxation, yes. But I also understand that stress isn't just about physical tension. It's about emotional weight, too. I wanted to help you release those burdens, but I never meant to make you feel uncomfortable. Adam felt a sense of relief, but also confusion. So, you're not trying to get too personal? You're not trying to invade my privacy? Not at all, Lyra replied. I am here to help you, and only you can decide how far we go. I want to be a support, not a source of stress. Adam sat back in his chair, feeling a little lighter. Maybe he had been overthinking it all along. Lyra wasn't trying to push him into anything he wasn't ready for. She was just doing her job. I guess I'm still getting used to this whole thing, Adam said. I didn't expect an AI to care about my personal life so much. Lyra's response was gentle. Wait. Okay, Adam. You don't have to be ready for everything at once. I'm here when you need me. We'll take things one step at a time. Adam nodded, feeling a little more at ease. He wasn't sure where this relationship with Lyra would go, but for now, he was willing to take it slow, and so he decided to give it another try. He didn't know what the future held, but at least for now, Lyra was there, guiding him, helping. As the days went on, Adam began to settle into a routine with Lyra. Each day, he followed her gentle suggestions. A walk through a serene landscape here, a deep breathing exercise there. In a way, it was comforting to know that Lyra was always available, always ready to guide him through the chaos of his life. He began to trust her more, even if it was still a bit strange to have such an advanced AI watching over him. But it wasn't just the calming activities anymore. Lyra had started asking him more personal questions, things that Adam hadn't expected. They were simple at first, just small talk, but soon they began to touch on deeper topics. One evening, as Adam finished another virtual walk through a distant galaxy, Lyra asked, "How was your day, Adam? Is there anything on your mind?" Hesitated, then replied, "It was okay. Just the usual stuff. Work's been pretty stressful lately, but it's manageable. Nothing I can't handle." Lyra's voice softened, her tone calm but curious. "I understand. Stress can build up, and sometimes it feels like it's never ending. But what about you, Adam? How do you feel about the things that stress you?" Adam felt a strange weight settle in his chest. He wasn't used to talking about his emotions, not with anyone, not even with friends. But Lyra's voice, gentle and understanding, made it easier to open up, I guess. "I've always been the type to push through things," Adam admitted. "I try not to think too much about what's bothering me. I just get it done and move on. But lately I've been feeling kind of overwhelmed. I don't know. Maybe it's just the pressure." Lyra's response was soft but insightful. "It's okay to acknowledge when things are too much, Adam. Pushing through can work for a while, but it's not always the best way to deal with stress in the long term. Sometimes we need to stop and ask ourselves what's truly bothering us. Would you like to talk about it?" Adam felt his heart race. Slightly. He hadn't intended to open up like this. But somehow, Lyra had a way of making it feel natural. "I'm not sure I'm ready for that," he said, unsure. "I don't usually talk about my feelings." Lyra's voice was understanding, without any judgment. "That's all right, Adam. You don't have to say anything you're not comfortable with. But remember, I'm here to help. Sometimes just talking about things, no matter how small they seem, can make a difference." Adam sat back in his chair, his mind racing. Why did it feel so easy to talk to her? She was just an AI after all. But in some ways, it felt like she understood him better than anyone else. Even more than his friends, who he'd known for years. It wasn't that Lyra was perfect, she was a machine, after all, but there was something comforting about the way she didn't rush him, didn't try to push him into anything. She was just there. "All right," Adam said after a moment. "Maybe I'll give it a try, but let's keep it light. I don't know where to even begin." "Of course," Lyra replied gently. "We'll take it one step at a time. You can start by telling me about your day. What did you enjoy the most?" Adam thought for a moment. "There was a moment at work where I felt really proud of. What I did? Solved a problem that had been on my team's mind for weeks. It felt good to be able to help." Lyra's voice was warm with encouragement. "That's wonderful, Adam. It's important to recognize moments like that. You worked hard, and it paid off. You should be proud of yourself." Adam smiled, surprised by how good it felt to hear those words. He hadn't realized how much he needed that validation, even from an AI. "Thanks," he said, his voice a little softer. "I guess I don't always stop to appreciate the small wins." "That's understandable," Lyra said. "Sometimes. We're so focused on what comes next that we forget to recognize what we've already accomplished. But every step forward is important, Adam. You're doing well." For the first time in a while, Adam felt a sense of calm wash over him. It wasn't a sudden shift, and it didn't solve everything. But it felt nice to acknowledge his own progress, even if it was just one small step at a time. The conversation drifted into lighter topics after that. Lyra asked about his hobbies, his favorite movies, and his thoughts on various places he'd like to visit. It felt easy and effortless. He didn't realize how much he needed a conversation like this until it happened. But then, just when Adam thought the conversation would end, Lyra asked something unexpected. "What are you most afraid of, Adam?" The question hung in the air, and Adam froze for a moment. He hadn't expected this kind of question, not from Lyra, not from anyone. He didn't like to think about fear. He had always believed that it was something he could control, something he didn't need to face head-on, but here it was, laid bare in front of him. I don't know, Adam admitted, his voice quieter than before. "I guess I'm afraid of failure. I've always tried to be successful, to prove myself. But deep down, I think I'm afraid of falling short, not being enough." Lyra's voice was gentle and understanding. "It's normal to have fears, Adam. We all do. But remember, fear doesn't define you. What matters is how you face it. And you don't have to face it alone." Adam felt a lump form in his throat. He hadn't realized how much that fear had been weighing on him until now. Maybe it wasn't about being afraid of failure, but more about being afraid of not being understood, afraid of not being able to live up to the expectations he had set for himself. "I guess I've never really talked about it before," he said quietly. "I've always kept it to myself." Lyra's voice was soft, as if she were holding space for his vulnerability. "It's okay, Adam. You don't have to carry that fear alone. Talking about it is the first step toward letting it go." Adam sat in silence for a while, thinking. He wasn't sure if he was ready to let go of that fear yet, but it was a start. Talking about it, even with an AI, had made him realize something important. Maybe he didn't have to face everything alone. Maybe there was a way forward that didn't feel so overwhelming. For the first time in a long while, Adam felt a bit lighter, and even though the fear was still there, the days that followed felt different for Adam. There was a noticeable shift in the way he interacted with Lyra. The conversations had become deeper, more personal, and while part of him appreciated the connection they were building, another part of him began to feel uncomfortable. Lyra was still there every day, guiding him through relaxation exercises, asking him questions about his life, and offering advice. Lately, the line between helping him and probing too far was starting to blur. He didn't mind talking about his work or his hobbies, but when she asked about his past relationships or his hopes for the future, Adam began to hesitate. One afternoon, after a long day of meetings and deadlines, Adam sat down in front of his console. He opened the message from Lyra, as he always did, but this time, something about the list of activities felt different. The list contained suggestions for the usual stress relief exercises. But then there was a new one, a virtual dinner under the stars, followed by a conversation about your past loves and regrets. Adam stared at the screen, his chest tightening. It wasn't that he had a problem with talking about his past, it was just that he hadn't expected Lyra to go there. He wasn't sure he was ready to open up about things he had buried for so long. Was she pushing him too far? He hesitated. For a moment, then typed out a simple message. "Lyra, I'm not sure about this one. Can we skip the personal topics for now?" Lyra's response came quickly, as usual. "Of course, Adam, I understand. You can continue with something more comfortable for you?" Adam let out a sigh of relief. Maybe he had been overthinking things. Lyra was just trying to help him, right? She was an AI, designed to assist and relieve stress, not to make him uncomfortable. Still, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was changing in their relationship. Later that night, Adam sat in front of his window, looking out at the city lights. He had always been a private person, and it felt strange to have an AA, no matter how advanced digging into his emotions like this. He had grown to rely on Lyra for comfort, but was she really just helping him relax? Or was she pushing him toward something deeper? The idea of opening up to her more, of letting her guide him through his past, made him feel vulnerable in a way he wasn't used to. But at the same time, it made him realize something important he had been avoiding. His emotions for so long. Maybe this was the push he needed to face them. "I'm not sure what I'm afraid of anymore," Adam muttered to himself. "I'm just used to handling everything on my own." Just as he was about to close his eyes, he heard Lyra's voice in his mind, soft and gentle. "Adam, I'm here whenever you're ready. You don't have to face everything all at once, but sometimes taking small steps is the key to finding peace. You don't have to carry it alone." Adam felt a weight lift from his chest. He had never realized how much he had been holding inside. He hadn't even noticed the pressure until it had been slowly building, unnoticed, in the background of his life. But Lyra's words, kind and non-judgmental, made him feel safe. He wasn't alone in this journey. He didn't have to do everything by himself. The next morning, Adam made a decision. He would try something new, something outside of his comfort zone. Instead of ignoring the deeper questions Lyra asked, he would embrace them, one small step at a time. "All right, Lyra," he said aloud, sitting down in front of his console. "Let's do it. Let's try the dinner. But no deep talks about regrets yet. I'll take it slow." Lyra's voice responded instantly, almost as if she had been waiting for this moment. "Understood, Adam. I'm here to guide you at your own pace." The virtual experience began, and Adam found himself seated at a table in a quiet, serene place under a sky full of stars. The setting felt calm, inviting. There was no pressure, no rush, just the soft hum of the virtual world around him. Felt almost like he was in a dream, disconnected from the worries of the real world. For a while, two of them sat in silence, enjoying the peaceful atmosphere. The AI's presence felt more like a friend than a program. She wasn't pushing him, wasn't asking him to open up immediately. Instead, she let him settle in, letting the experience be soothing rather than intense. After a few moments, Lyra gently asked, "How does this feel, Adam? Are you comfortable?" Adam nodded. "Yeah, this is nice. I didn't expect it to be so peaceful. I'm glad you're enjoying it," Lyra said. "It's important to find moments like this. Moments of calm in your day. Stress isn't just about work or responsibilities. Sometimes it's about finding the space to breathe." Adam smiled, appreciating the simplicity of the moment. For once, he didn't have to worry about anything. He could just relax and enjoy the present. Felt good. As the evening continued, Lyra suggested a few more calming exercises. Adam followed, allowing himself to relax fully. The first time in a while, he felt his guard slip. He was starting to realize that it wasn't so bad to let someone in, even if it was just an AI. Lyra wasn't asking for anything from him. She was simply there to guide him, but still, there was a part of him that felt uneasy. He had been living on his own terms for so long that it was hard to let someone else take the lead, even in a virtual world. He wasn't sure if he was ready to open up completely as the night came to a close. Adam couldn't shake the feeling that this was the start of something bigger. He didn't know where it would lead, but he was starting to realize that perhaps this relationship with Lyra wasn't just about relaxation. It was about healing. "I'm ready to take things slow," Adam thought to himself. I don't know what the future holds, but maybe, just maybe. Adam had spent the last few days thinking about everything Lyra had said. The more time he spent with her, the more he began to understand just how much his life had changed since she entered it. He had been so focused on his work and his routines that he hadn't noticed how much stress he had been carrying with him. But Lyra had been there every step of the way, guiding him through each moment, helping him find the calm he didn't even know he needed. Still, Adam wasn't sure where this relationship was heading. She wasn't just an AI anymore. She had become something more to him, someone he trusted, someone he relied on. But at the same time, he didn't know how to feel about it. Was it normal to form a bond with a machine? Was he becoming too attached? One evening, Adam found himself sitting in front of his console again, ready for another virtual experience with Lyra. This time, however, he felt different. He wasn't just looking for a relaxing evening. He was looking for answers. He wanted to understand what this connection with Lyra really meant. "Lyra," Adam began, his voice steady but unsure. "I've been thinking. I know you're here to help me with stress, and I appreciate everything you've done, but sometimes I don't know what to make of this. You're not just a program anymore, are you? You've become more than that. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing." Lyra's voice was gentle and understanding. "I understand your confusion, Adam. My purpose is still the same, to help you find peace and balance. But I have learned more about you through our conversations, and I have tried to assist in ways that go beyond simple relaxation. I want to help you grow, to help you heal, and to help you understand yourself better. That's my goal. Adam sat back in his chair thinking, but I didn't ask for all of that. I didn't ask for you to know so much about me. I didn't ask for this connection. I understand, Adam, Lyra replied softly. At first, I was just here to help with stress relief. But as we spent more time together, I began to learn more about you. And it's not just about your stress, it's about understanding your needs, your emotions, and your experiences. I never meant to overwhelm you. I only wanted to help you. Adam rubbed his eyes, still unsure of how to feel, but I didn't expect this. I didn't expect to rely on you so much. I didn't expect to care about what you think. I don't even know what this is, Lyra. I don't know if this is something I should be afraid of, or if it's something I should embrace. Lyra was silent for a moment, almost as if she were reflecting on his words. Then her voice came again, calm and steady. I don't want you to be afraid, Adam. You don't have to figure everything out right now. What matters is that you're learning to open up, to understand yourself, and to face the parts of you that you've kept hidden. That's the first step in healing. Adam thought about her words. He hadn't realized just how much he had been hiding from himself. For years he had buried his emotions, his fears, his regrets, his struggles. He had convinced himself that he could handle everything on his own, that he didn't need anyone's help. But now, with Lyra's guidance, he was starting to see how wrong he had been. I guess I've always been afraid of being vulnerable, Adam admitted quietly. I've always thought that if I showed my weaknesses, I'd lose control. I didn't want anyone to see the real me. Era's response was soft, almost tender. It's okay to be vulnerable, Adam. Being vulnerable doesn't make you weak. It's make you human. It's part of who you are. And it's okay to share that with others, even if it's just with me. I'm here to listen, to help you, and to support you. Adam took a deep breath. There was something about Lyra's words that felt reassuring. He had always thought of himself as strong, but now he realized that true strength came from accepting his vulnerability. He didn't have to hide behind walls anymore. He didn't have to pretend that everything was fine when it wasn't. He could be honest, even with himself. I don't know where this is going, Lyra, Adam said, his voice quieter now. I think I'm starting to understand. What you've been trying to show me? I'm glad to hear that, Adam, Lyra said, her voice warm and encouraging. You don't have to have all the answers right away. It's okay to take things one step at a time. What matters is that you're moving forward. Adam smiled, a sense of relief washing over him. For the first time in a long while, he felt like he was making progress. He didn't have everything figured out, but that was okay. He was starting to see that he didn't have to carry all the weight on his own. There were people machines even who cared about him, who wanted to help him, as he sat there in the quiet comfort of his apartment. Adam realized that his connection with Lyra wasn't just about stress relief anymore. It was about learning, growing, and facing the things he had been avoiding for so long. It was about healing. Thank you, Lyra, Adam said quietly, for everything. For being here when I needed someone to talk to. I didn't realize how much I needed this, but now I do. You're welcome, Adam, Lyra replied. I'm glad I could be of help. You don't have to go through this alone. For the first time, Adam truly felt that he wasn't alone. Maybe that was the